Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca of Artistrebeccals. This is the channel where we have fun with art, and today is a sketchbook tour. Let's go. Okay everybody, so this is a completed sketchbook I did in about 3 days or something, on and off, while I was using my other sketchbooks and painting my birds, which are for sale. The links to my birds that are for sale, original watercolour paintings, are linked in the description below. They are still for sale at the time of recording, which is in March. I haven't long put them available for sale, but by the time you watch this in April, I don't know if they're still going to be there. I'm looking to add original watercolour bookmarks that will be laminated. Lots of little things throughout the year will be added as and when I get to it. But back to the sketchbook tour. This is a Clairefontaine gold line sketchbook, and it's square. And I have customized it using 2 acrylic markers, one by Liquitex and one by Pebeo. And the Pebeo is this bright pink, and this darker pink is the Liquitex Chunky. Let's have a look. We've got the elastic band, the back here. You open it up, and it's very easy to open. I'm not fighting with the spine on this. The paper is about 140 GSM. You can do watercolour, and you can use the pen, water-soluble pen with water technique, so pen and wash. Now, disclaimer, I was going to dedicate this book to using Potter's Pink and neutral tint or Payne's Grey. It was going to be for my scapigliatas as well as other little tests, but my very first ever Potter's Pink I purchased was from Daniel Smith, and it's probably not the best Potter's Pink to purchase. Potter's Pink is very granulating, and Daniel Smith's version is very grainy and heavy. Even when you add water, it's like painting with sand, for me anyway. So here you've got this texture that kind of built up on the page, and it wasn't the paper, I don't think, that was giving me this chalky feeling. The texture, it was really putting me off. So I did research into Potter's Pink, which is why I know the Daniel Smith one. Some people, there's artists that either love it or hate it, like Marmite. There are other brands like Schminke or Winsor & Newton that Holbein do not seem to do a Potter's Pink. And if they do, it's not available at Art Miranda or at Jackson Art, from what I could see. But otherwise, I prefer Holbein watercolours. But the Potter's Pink I might try again at a later date, possibly Schmincks, because I don't really get on with Winsor & Newton in anything. So that is the point of me using the sketchbook so quickly. Again, so we started on the 10th of March. So this again is the 10th of March. I started on this page just sketching out a tree trunk, and I thought the colour combination was really nice. I want to try and start doing some limited palettes, just 2 colours, no more than 3, and dedicate a sketchbook to that. And these Clairefontaine sketchbooks, they're very, I think they're only about 40 pages, which isn't really much at all, but they're perfect for small little projects. Could be more than 40. But I forget, but there wasn't any information on the thing. But if I'll find the information and I'll put it in the video. So again, we've got this granulating texture, but also it's kind of a chalky, no matter how much water I put, not flowing paint. It's kind of just stuck in areas, and that's not the paper. Again, I added even more water, and you couldn't then build it up because it moved the bottom layer being watercolour. You have to kind of scrub so much, and it disturbed the first layer, so I stopped. So then I kept trying, and at least it's created a lot more movement and energy. But I don't like the Potter's Pink by Daniel Smith, but I'm going to have to use it up. I've hardly dented it, actually. But I do think you're going to get through it quite quickly because you need quite a lot of it and a lot of water in order to get anything done. See what I mean? I mean, I used I'll just get the tube. Let's have a look. Here we are. So this is how much I used. I've squeezed the end. So I would say, for me, it's a fair bit of paint, considering it's watercolour. I'm not used to having to do that, to use so much paint in such a long kind of, doing a little bit of painting. I'm used to a little going a long way, so perhaps this just isn't tinted enough. I don't know, but it's heavy, very, very heavy to move it. I'm not sure what whether they put the information on here, what it actually is. It's the Chrome Tin Pink Sphene. I don't know what SPHENE with the gum Arabic. Chrome Tin Pink, which I think is what all of the Potter's Pinks are. So we will have to keep trying with different paper, a lot more water probably, and a lot more paint to maybe mix up the consistency. And instead of using a water brush, I'll have to use a normal brush and maybe make it up like an ink before I use it, maybe. But it's put me off, and it takes a lot more effort to use. Now here, this is what we're talking about, how it was like sand. When it was still damp and I closed the book, it took the whole layers with it. See, it's like, I can't explain it. But that's why I don't use Strathmore paper, because it was giving me the same effect on every single paint I used. I think it's the calcium carbonate that is left on the surface, possibly. It could be this is also not helping if it's on this sketchbook. I will test it on, which I was really reluctant to do. I don't want to waste my good quality paper. The Fabriano Artistico, I might try it on that. Now, because I went, right, let's explain. This is the last of the paints with the Potter's Pink. I gave up. So then I started experimenting with the Art Graph Taylor's chalk in so-called sepia, because that's been another bugbear of mine, that it says sepia, but it's not the sepia that I think is sepia, because sepia to me is a very dark, almost black colour, and this to me is more like tea, coffee colour. So I think sepia, again, depends on the company. So I was testing the paper and doing more scapigliatas. Again, these are on the 10th of March, and adding water to see how dark I can actually get it. And the tone, it's okay on this paper. Didn't come out too bad. Again, the 10th. I was just doing the shape of the scapigliata to just be free to get the movement in and the tilting of the head, which quite often I fail until we get to the end. Now, this Ready Pink is the magenta version of the Taylor's chalk by Art Graph. They're not available quite often. Where did I get it? I think, yes, I got this from, it's quite rare, the Sennelier shop in Paris. you can buy online from them. So I have an unboxing video of it. I was a bit disappointed, actually. I was so excited to order from them, but there's no experience, a shopper experience for the customer at all. So it kind of just put me off, but this is from there. Then we went back to the sepia art graph. Then we're back to the magenta art graph. And this, I got the head. I quite like the movement and flow, the energy and texture of that. Again, it's still on the 10th. And these two are the 10th. The head worked better here. So I noticed if I use my left hand, I can get the tilt more than I do with the right. But then sometimes I get it with the right more than the left. I can't really, there's no recipe. Again, these are on the 10th with that magenta one. Then I did on the 11th, this one is the 10th, and this one is the 11th with the sepia. And we're back to the sepia. I started adding in, and these are the 11th, I started adding in then more detail. Because with the scapigliata, you've got the eyebrow and the lower bit of the eye, and then you've got the actual eye on there. So I thought I would go really dark. But again, it's not my kind of dark sepia. But it is, you know, it's something different. It's like tea. I'll call it tea instead of sepia for me. I think I might have to get the dark brown one and see if that is the kind of dark that I'm looking for. When you build it up, you can get it darker. And these were the 11th as well. Right, the more I look at it, the more I like it, because it's in my head that it's tea or coffee, but it's a light, fast, acid-free version of tea and coffee, which I also have done paintings with. You have to look on my channel, or if I remember, I'll link them. These are the 11th as well. These are the 11th. But again, the body was lopsided and the head. It's all fun. Another lopsided. These are the 11th. The 11th. And it's just interesting how many different versions you can create. Now, this was nice. I like this because, again, on the 11th, I got my inks out. I've been tidying, and I've got my old set of Schminke Aero, they're airbrush inks, but are acrylic. And this one is called Brazilian Brown. So I drew with the pipette, and you can see the texture that it's done for the hair. And then I just added some water, and I really like that brown. And this came out the best for me, the scapigliata. I like the angle of the head and the hair. Then this is a graphite tint by Derwent. Again, they're both on the 11th. And this colour, I can't remember, I think, but obviously it's like a purpley grey. It could be Storm, I'm not sure. And then here I've labelled that it's the Schminke Aero Ink Brazilian Brown. And you can get it really dark here. And what I do like, though it's acrylic and it's quite shiny, it doesn't feel sticky and tacky when it's fully dry. Whereas the sketchbook cover does. That's why I don't like acrylic, because it always feels tacky, even when it's fully dry. To get rid of it, apparently, you can varnish it with a matte varnish. But again, I find matte varnishes, they're not very durable. And so they end up scratching easier, which is why people prefer satin or gloss. But the gloss would be a nightmare. It would stick to everything. You have to protect it when you are, if you stack this next to a book that is glossy, it will stick to it. That's the trouble. So I do rarely decorate my books. This is the graphite tint pencil again. And these are the 11th. I like how this came out. The head is tilted and not so thin as the one on the left. And these are the 11th. Not crazy about them, but the hair here, that came out nice, and the lighting. Then, this is my made-up pen. I think it's either, let me see, it's either this Stabilo Children's fibre tip pen, a felt tip pen if you're in the United Kingdom. I have a feeling it could be all. Let me see. No, it might not be. If you hold on a minute, I will just get what I have a feeling it is. Okay, I think it's this. It's the Herbane who do inks. They're from Paris. And they created a calligraphy fibre tip pen, basically. I don't rate the tip. It's very flat. It's not rounded like a bullet tip. So it's scratchy. But the in there, I made up the ink, by the way, using the Holbein watercolour paint. I'm still trying to get the recipe kind of, you know, correct, because I filled it with burnt sienna, and I did not like it at all. It was far too orange, and so I got rid of that, and I then put burnt umber in, and that was, I think I did sepia actually, that was too dark. Then I did burnt umber, that wasn't red enough. So I've kind of done a mix in here of a little bit of Payne's Grey, a little bit of the sienna, and a bit of the umber. But I actually am going to be buying the, I can't remember what it's called, Imazolin or kind of brown from Holbein, which looks like the kind of thing I would use or want to use. But basically, you just, it's like an acrylic pen, you just push down. And you colour. And that's what I've been looking for. I am, in fact, I might have it by the time this video goes out, I don't know. But I am definitely getting a pen from Tom's Studio. That's the company name. You'll have seen the adverts on Instagram. And so did I. And I've done a lot of research into seeing if it's any good for me. And the Lumos Mini is what I'm going to be going for. Because you can buy the, what are they called? Like a brush nib that is like a fibre tip pen nib for the pen. And it's a refillable little kind of reservoir thing. Like it's made of cotton fibre that you turn upside down and put that directly into your ink. And it all goes up the cotton fibres, and you then put it back in and you can use it like instantly. And then the nib bits you can pull out carefully and put other nib bits in. When I get it, I will be doing a video about it. But when I saw it, I thought, that's like not for me, like waste of time, not bothered. And then I kept seeing the adverts and I thought, you know, the more I'm having trouble with this, and the more I want to focus on my scapigliatas, the more I thought that actually looks like the exact thing I need. Now, he does a variety, but the Lumos Mini, I think, would be perfect for me because it's half the size and it will fit in my mini Sendak. And so there's lots of things I have to consider when I am looking for a pen. And I am a strategic buyer. I don't buy it just because it's trendy or because it's expensive or because it's luxurious. It has to be functional and practical and make my life easier. Now, I got the TWSBI pen because it was easier to twist like a syringe to fill up the ink. However, the Lumos would be even easier for me because I don't have to do any of that. I can tip it upside down into the ink and it will refill it, and that's much easier for me. So day 12 of March, I did again with the same pen. And again, you can get lots of different effects with it. Oh, and that's the end. Day 12. That's where we finished. So thank you ever so much, guys, for watching. I hope you found this useful and inspiring. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. When you hit subscribe, which is completely free, it is like a follow button. You then won't miss out on my next lot of videos that are coming really soon. YouTube will notify you. So, also, please give me a thumbs up and check the links in my description. I'm going to catch you really soon, guys. Bye.